Welcome everyone. I hope you are fine and you are doing great. Welcome back to Funkit to Smart Story. Today the story I'm going to share is The Lost Monster.
Once upon a time, there was a gentleman who believed in monsters and was an expert in locating hidden monsters. A professional monsterologist, he was an old man with thick white hair and a long white beard. He always wore a crumpled old black coat with at least two or three spectacles hanging around his neck. Professor had a granddaughter named Dushi who was a cute little girl of 7 with big black eyes. She loved her grandfather very much and was very curious about monsters. Grandpa, there are no monsters in the world. They exist only in storybooks, said Dushi one day. The professor looked up at Dushi and shook his head. There are monsters even now, but only a few of them. Even those few are hiding somewhere. I have to find them and take them to safer places. Recently, in a remote island called Toriba, strange large footprints have been seen. They could be the footprints of a monster. I have to go there and find out. Gently exciting Dushi jumped onto her grandfather's lap and cried, I want to come with you. The professor gently put her on the ground and said, the journey will be very long and tiring and could be dangerous for young children. So saying he got up to pack his bag. Though she was very hurt, she said, I don't believe you. There are never any monsters. If there were, what happened to them? The professor turned around and looked at Dushi. He said, long ago there were many monsters, dragons, and giants. They all lived peacefully, but slowly people started interfering in their lives and disturbing them. In olden days, before a young man could marry, he had to show his strength by killing a monster. A prince would kill a monster thinking he was protecting his people, and so all the monsters started disappearing, and now only a few exist in some remote places. They are all hiding and do not come in contact with human beings. I suspect that a monster could be hiding on the island of Toriba, so I am going there. If you really promise to be good and patient and quiet, I will take you with me. Thank you, Grandpa, Dushi shouted happily. The professor and Dushi packed their bags and got ready to go to the airport. Dushi's bag was small and neat, whereas the professor had three big suitcases filled with strange instruments, including a large bugle which was sticking out of one of the suitcases. When they reached the airport, people started looking at them strangely. But when they recognized the professor, everyone smiled and waved at them. They flew for 14 hours. Then they got down from the plane and traveled in a jeep across the desert for many more hours till at last they reached the sea. From there, they sailed in a ship across the sea, and one morning they reached the island of Toriba after almost 1 week. Now, though she was very tired but quite excited, as soon as she stepped on the island of Toriba, she started jumping up and down, talking loudly. Professor grabbed Dushi and said, don't make any noise. The monsters are very shy and might run away and hide, so be very quiet. The professor and Dushi walked into the island through thick jungle carrying a net, a camera, and the bugle. The jungle was filled with huge giant trees, strange plants, and exotic flowers. Dushi looked at everything with great wonder. After a lot of walking, they sat down near a big cave to take rest. Suddenly, though she spotted a large footprint behind a rock, she showed it to her grandfather. The professor examined it carefully and then blew his bugle softly. There was silence for a few minutes. Then, as the professor and Dushi waited anxiously, there came a reply from inside the cave, and out came a strange creature, green in color with scales all over his body. He resembled a dinosaur, but a small and friendly one. As soon as he saw the professor and Dushi, he stopped and looked surprised. Then he went over the place as if he was searching for something. That is a young Scalibus, said the professor to Dushi softly, and it seems as if the little fellow has lost his family. He is all alone. They watched the little monster moving about. Hopefully, finally the baby monster gave up and went back into the cave. Grandpa, I wish we could find his family, said Dushi. We will try our best, said the professor. Let us explore the rest of the island. They walked as far as they could, taking photographs of rare birds and plants and looking for more monsters, but they couldn't find any. When it was dark, they went back to the ship and came again the next day. 5 days passed in this manner, and it was time to leave. On the last day, Dushi said, Grandpa, please give me your bugle. She blew it softly every few minutes as they explored the far end of the island. Suddenly, from behind some trees, they heard a small sound. They ran towards the sound and found a young Scalibus with an injured leg. It must be the first one's brother, said Dushi happily. The professor rang up his assistants on the ship. With their help, they bandaged the injured leg and brought the monster carefully to the cave of the first Scalibus. Dushi and her grandfather watched from a distance as the two little monsters greeted each other joyfully and disappeared into the cave. They are together now, thanks to you, Dushi. This deserted island is the best place for them, said the professor. He and Dushi left Toriba feeling very content, and on her eighth birthday, Professor Dushi with, presented Dushi with a brand new bugle.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have liked the story. Thank you so much.